fair. I don't think treatment was salary right. And I don't think Dayangari Stevie G he would have gotten through the treatment. When you get to status in a salary, there is a bit of entitlement that comes, and you're not ordinary. But also, I don't condone then kuzoendo media oneta marant usina uningin. But you know what? It comes with the territory. If you ask me, I don't know, but I felt those.
Well, this is football, and this is the show, Strictly Football, where we talk of nothing short of football, just football at its prime and football at its best. And of course, the Salah conversation, quite topical, and he has been dropped out of the Champions League squad, and a lot to be desired from the men Ancelotti. And this week, we are going to be focusing, of course, on the dinner that we just saw, the Soccer Stars dinner, and the men from straight out of Gweru, Washington Navaya, getting on to clinch at the top goal. Was that expected?
Yeah, well, for me, I think after such a season, he did quite well. Coming from a side that he comes from, to be frank with you, when the season starts, very few honest people would say that they at some point tipped Tel One to win or to perform the way Tel One did.
Yeah.
Then to have a player from that side and also who's on the other side of the 30s, outscoring even the younger ones, I think he deserved that. He had a brilliant season. He did well. I think I heard his coach say when he joined, that is Ebert Maro, when he joined Tel One, Washington he had just came from Islanders and he had scored, I think, 6 or 7 goals.
Yeah.
And he then came and pushed him this season. So it tells you that the player probably is maturing like with age like wine. At Islanders, he probably did not have the platform. Maybe it was a bit bigger than him. But now he has got latitude to express himself, and he's doing so at Tier 1. I think that's one thing that I would never have had qualms with awarding him the Soccer Star of the Year. I think it was only fair for me.
All right. And, we are looking at Washington Navaya 2024. He scored 6 goals, and he's coming through now. 24 goal contributions in total. That's 17 goals and 7 assists. And you look at those statistics for someone who had previously scored 6 goals. Any word for Herbert Maroa, the transformation that we have seen coached out? Can you just take us through? Because this is a phenomenal transformation that we have seen, and the translation of form. You even had trial stints that's in South Africa, missing out on some matches, but still coming back to take the crown.
Congratulations to Navaya, Washington. Congratulations also to Coach Herbert Maroa. And a great job that he has done with him. It's not easy to improve a player who's on the wrong side of age, that is 30. He's probably 33, 34. And probably you know the saying that says, better build children than repair men. Herbert Maroa did a wonderful repairment job. Coming into this season, nobody gave Navaya a chance that he could clinch the top goal scorer of the year, of the season, and also the top goal of being the best player in Zimbabwe. Nobody expected that. It was out of the blue, but if you manage to watch, I managed to watch him during the preseason when he was playing for Tier 1. I think it was the second preseason game against Scotland at Hatfield. I was very impressed by him, but he wasn't playing as a natural number 9. He was playing as a supporting striker. And you could tell the way he handled the ball, the way he had the football IQ, and the way he did his things with the ball at his feet, the way he would move without the ball and with the ball, positionally and out of position. You could tell that he is somebody who is matured enough. And judging from that game, I admired him. You know, you can tell that this guy has got everything: the height, the speed, the endurance, the technical ability to play the ball on the ground and also in the air. And to come up with 17 goals and 6 assists in your first season with Tel One, coming from Gweru, nobody thought that Tel One would be number 5 in the league.
Definitely.
People would actually say they'll be fighting relegation. But if you see, or if you take a look at the games that he missed when he was in South Africa for trials, I think he missed about 4 games or 3 or 4 games. The team did not perform well, but with him they were performing well, and he was scoring crucial goals. He was not just scoring that. Maybe the team is just leading maybe 2 or 3 by 3 goals to nil. He scores the 4th goal. He was scoring the winning goals. Sometimes the 1-1 goals. But credit to him and also the technical staff that pushed Navaya to the top gong of the year. And I also would like to say congratulations to all the 11 players who made it on the 11 best players of Zimbabwe.
11 players that managed to leave a mark. That is in the 2025 season. And gentlemen, just to go through the men that you would have given the top gong, if it wasn't Washington Navaya, who would it have been for you, your picks?
Yeah, that's an interesting question, Reynold. Yeah, looking at the 11 that were selected, if it was not going to be Washington Navaya, then definitely I was going to give it to Kelvin Moy. I appreciate what Emmanuel Jalai did. I've got a serious soft spot for him as a player, and I also like him as a person. He's a very disciplined person that I appreciate that. But in terms of, he did quite well for Dynamos. But in terms of who then contributed in a way that I would have rewarded if it had not been Washington Navaya, then definitely it would be Kelvin Moy, because Kelvin Moy did so well. You also want to look at the edge. I'm not an edgeist, so to speak, but if the guys, that the more experienced guys then outperform the young and more energized players, I think I would naturally have a bias towards him. But you also want to look at the contribution that he made. He brought serious stability to the back line for Scotland. His passing ability, he could start moves. He had all that. There's leadership, and he played all the games that he had to play. So that on its own, it speaks a lot of other things, because being a defensively minded player or a defensive player in nature, your engagements and duels are a bit tough. But somehow he managed to come out unscared. It speaks to intelligence. It speaks to serious ability in as far as him technically as a player is looked at. And the contribution then, he had a few goals here and there. So you're talking of somebody who led really from the back. Usually people talk, they're leading from the front, but he was from the back and, marshalling the defense and ordering everything. I think he was very key to Scotland then winning the title. So I would have given it to him.
All right, and I've seen comparisons online about Kelvin Moyo, and some were placing Ishanes Mauchi by the side, and they were saying, if you want to talk of Kelvin Moyo, look also at what Ishe has done at Zimbabwe. And comparing the two, do you think that Kelvin Moyo really stood a chance?
If you compare Ishanes
and Kelvin Moyo?
At the end of the day, we are going to reward winners.
Okay.
The ultimate contribution, the ultimate battle was for the title.
Yeah.
And if Kevin then ended up being the winner, I think he would then win it. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. I'm curious to see the statistics and the comparisons. But I thought in terms of the season, Kevin was better than Ishe. Ishe is doing well. I'm liking the progress. You know, one thing that I like about Shanes Mauchi, that I'll tell you, traditionally football is about guys from the high density suburbs.
Yeah.
Boys Rim Ghetto.
Yeah.
Football is not really associated with these affluent kind of backgrounds. But this guy is coming from an affluent background. This guy is coming from this is my face ignorance and Georges and stuff. You get it? Then he goes on to perform the way he's doing. I think he's doing well, and he needs to continue in that trajectory and working hard. I see him as one of those that will be very key, not just for his club, but even for the national team, if he continues developing and working hard.
All right, and question out. Kelvin Moyo for Soccer Star of the Year 2025. Would you have seen that coming?
Most probably he would have deserved it because his team also won the league. It was great of him also to be part and parcel of that team because he played 34 games non-stop. And, you know, it's not easy for a defender to be on that top 3 podium. Most of the people will be voting for midfielders and the attacking players. But if you look on that top 3 podium, he came second. And then we've got Ziochi, Emmanuel Ziochi, who came third. We've got Navaya, who's a striker, and Ziochi, who's a right winger or left winger. And then we've got a centre back who's playing also. Is most probably, I think, one of his best games, best seasons in recent years. Remember, with Kevin Moyo, he brought stability to Scotland's defence when they did not have that stability prior to the beginning of the season. And, you know, leading from the back, like what Bevan was saying, leading from the back and trying to create and to start play from the back is not easy for a central defender, especially when you are yet to know or to understand your teammates. Because if you look at the first half of the season, Scotland were not playing fluid football. They could concede, but less. Then when you compare to him with the Ishe from Zimba, Ishe is very young. And Kevin Moyo is old, but he led because of the level of maturity that he has. And with Ishe, he's still a young boy who's still got so many years to improve. I do agree with Bevan, like what he said. We see him together as one of our future leaders in the national setup. The more we have these youngsters playing week in, week out, also not taking it as a competition with Kevin Moyo, but as a learning season for Ishe, learning from Kevin Moyo. I think that would be something that is wonderful, even to have a conversation with them here on this platform so that we really understand what was going through Kevin Moyo's mind during this season and what was going through Ishe's thoughts throughout the season. I think it was a good season for both of the players. And unfortunately, one has to take the podium and the other one has to drop. But I believe that in the future years, if the boy keeps working hard, humbles himself, and listens to the coaches, I see him becoming a better player. And most probably, I think he will get for greener pastures out of Africa.
All right, and the conversations online also are focused more on Emmanuel Jalai. And of course, I'm sure that is attributed to the huge fan base for Dynamos, as they call themselves the 7 million souls. But would you have pictured Emmanuel Jalai in the conversation that is in the top 3 of the Soccer Star of the Year awards?
Yeah, for a player that I like so much, it would be funny rather to say the next sentiments that I'm going to make. It's going to be difficult, Reynolds, if you've got a whole season of fighting relegation. It becomes difficult for people to see your performance, really. It's worse off if you are a defender, which is why I have got serious respect for him. Actually, the fact that he managed to be part of the 11, and he was actually the fans' favorite. Yeah. Right. It speaks volumes, and probably, of course, you can't separate what you just alluded to, the fact that he's coming from a 7 million background in courts. But I would it's difficult as a person who's going to make choices regarding who's going to be part of the 11, who's going to win. To say somebody who was fighting relegation for the past for the greater part of the season, because usually the norm, if I may put it, is you reward winners.
Yeah, true.
So in terms of him deserving to be on the calendar, I think that's beyond dispute. But then going all the way for the top Kong, it was not going to be possible. When you are fighting relegation, you would need to be having an extraordinary season, whereby probably we're talking of him as a defender, probably sitting on maybe 12 goals, or plus other assists, such kind of stats. Then you'd say, no, guys, we are not going to deny him this chance. But I feel he did well enough to be on the calendar, well enough to be chosen as the fans' favorite. But for him to be, awarded the top Kong, I would not think that.
But the argument coming here is he managed to make sure that the Chibuko Super Cup does come home, that is to Dynamos, for a third consecutive season. They are also looking at the previous seasons. And others are also saying, this is a big game player because he also had stints with the national team. So this is the basis of the argument, and I don't know how you can dispute that.
Yeah, national team call-ups, yes, they are every player's dream. But those are not entirely issues to do with, I'm not saying it in reference to Emmanuel Jalai, but in general.
Yeah.
If you use that as criteria, I think it can be a bit misleading, because those are not entirely about performance. Sometimes it's about compatibility and suitability to a particular system.
Yeah.
One player can be outperforming another in the league in general, but is not, going to suit the system probably that the coach would want to play. There are players right now that I will tell you that are not probably in that national team, or that have not been called, that people would say, So at the end of the day, I think national team call-ups, yes, they can be part of the criteria, but you've got to understand, or to have an analysis of to what extent. Because you may be called to the national team because you're a likable character. Yeah. You can be called to the national team because others, because it's a world of science now, they know this guy, from a social science perspective, is going to bring, he's sort of a cement in the team, he's going to bring unity. He's needed. Yes, you're not going to see him play. You're not going to see them play, but they are very necessary to the team. They can boost the morale in the camp. They can drive. Some are natural leaders. They may not be as good so much on the field of play. So they may be in the national team for those reasons. So I hear the argument, but still for me, I don't think the arguments carry enough water to say they are going to change either Washington Navaya or Kevin Moore being ahead of him. I don't think so.
Well, Ruben, your thoughts? Jalai, the guy who managed to stabilize Dynamos in a turbulence period, literally the standout performer. Your thoughts on him?
Most probably, I know most of the 7 million crowd, Chaunga Che Dynamos, Chavanoti Chazunguza will not like it.
He comes from where they are.
They will not like it, but I'm going to say it as it is. Alkuna reward demun anengaita dofo. Baba vangafarira kuti mwana waite number 3 kana kufarira mwana wepa next door.
But never
in this aiwa haitoti dofo chamari.
But Arkunzi angadai avhara door but azotadza kuvhara.
Aiwa mwana wepa next door waita number 1. Mungabva mumba menyero mumba present mimi kuti mwana wepa next door waita number 1. This is what basically the social media people are calling out. Jalai had a great season, but not for him to be on the top 3 podium. Well, in the best 11, I do agree. The boy has got a great heart. He fights well. He plays well. He's blue-blooded. He's Dynamos all out. And even when you see him, the way he fights for that jersey, it's beyond imagination. And he's lucky to have the 7 million crowd. Dynamos Anziji Ainangozi. supporting him, carrying him also to
but
to that award. Zvakabuda hope. Zvokutoti handiri kunyeperai kana matombo epamharadzano vakanzwa nekumanhonga vachitononamatira kuti timu ipone. Well, I'm looking at this.
We need a whole episode about Matumbe.
He comes from the headquarters, so maybe he's hinting at something.
Yeah,
But basically, Jalai did well, to be honest with you. Dynamos had one of its worst seasons in 20 years.
Yeah.
I think the last time they almost got relegated was, I think it was 2005, 2006. Yes. And this one was worse than the 2004-2005 period. They actually had the first part of the season scoring about 7 goals out of 16 games, which was beyond imagination that Dynamos could be a team that cannot score but always concede goals. But when you're considering goals and you've got Emmanuel Jalai in the back four and you want him to be on the top 3 of the podium of the best players in Zimbabwe, guys, you might be joking. We need somebody who, let me put it, Kevin Moyo and Ishe. Ishe, I think his defense was the best team that did not concede so many goals, but he was not even amongst the top 3. And then we've got Jalai. Because of the crowd that he has, they even voted for him. Personally, they voted for him. The 7 million plus voted for him so that he wins something at the awards ceremony. Wow. But nevertheless, taking away from anything from Jalai, a brilliant player, a brilliant boy with a great attitude, work rate that is beyond imagination. Any coach would love to have him in his plans, and I hope also he carries on with this great performance even at the AFCON if he makes it. And I always say all the best to him.
Well, and definitely coming to you, Bevan, I'm sure that you will be happy. You are wearing green, though it's not Caps United green. But of course, the record still untouched. The record of Caps United in 2016, which is the biggest margin in 2 decades that the title has been won with. That is 71 points. The biggest tally that has been recorded, 2010, now into the 2020s.
I think if you're referring to the 2004 record.
The 2016 one.
2016, they had how many points?
It's 71 points, 71. Still standing from the 2010s up
because
until now.
The one that I remember was 2004 when they had 79.
Yeah.
I thought that was the biggest. That was the biggest.
The biggest ever.
Ever, and but when you look at Caps United, they had a terrible season.
Yeah.
I'm not so sure if this was a season that they would be talking about records and be happy about records. But it's a game of football. I mean, these things do happen in football. You've got records set, you've got things, and the many faithful Caps United fans out there would want to have their team hold some of these records, because there isn't much to celebrate nowadays from these traditional giants. They were, especially the past 2-3 seasons, they have not been performing well. So, I think those records, they will be happy to have those records.
But what is wrong at Caps United? This is the big question, because if we look at the just ended season, they have been throwing in all the fans. They have been bringing in players as if they are bringing in something, a huge cargo. And these players, we haven't really seen that much effect, that much impact from them. They brought in the goalkeepers. They brought in the one that was at top with 22 clean sheets from the southern region, the Simon Inari, as well as bringing in Stephen Kwaku from Ghana, who once played for the Ghana youth team. They brought in the men that we were all waiting for, Kunda Ibenyu. They really told the globe to make sure that they do bring together a squad. But what went wrong for both Lloyd Tembo as well as Ian Bakala?
Football things can happen in football. It can go south. A game a season can go south. It happens. I don't think I think it was actually a transitional season for them. If you then look at what they then did, whilst everyone was thinking that they're probably going to get relegated, they were busy assembling what appears to be a better side. And maybe under different, under better circumstances going into the next season. But I've seen, teams having. I'll give it. Allow me to digress a bit. If you go to, for example, Liverpool now, they are struggling, but they probably have one of the strongest sides, save maybe for a few positions, but they've got a very strong side. So I think these things can actually happen in a game of football. A season can go south. They can prepare, but they would be in a better position to respond to that.
Well, let me move to Ruben here. And of course, we have seen Cape United opting to go youthful in the initial stages. And then all of a sudden, we are seeing the Wadis returning. They are bringing all this. The Mugalos was even over 34. And these players now coming back to Cape United. Are we looking at a situation where the bonds are lying in the valley and there may be no redemption for them?
For Cape United, I don't think they had a bad season that much. Because when you look at them, yes, they are part of the top 5 title contenders in Zimbabwe in the PSL. Football has got its own transition. And I think it's one of those years that Cape United were trying to build something for the 2026 season. Do you know, when you look at the previous seasons, when I still remember in the era when Dynamos won four titles on the trot with Kaliso Paswai at the helm, actually Cape United would have won maybe 3 titles. But because of some squabbles within their camp, things did not go well. Now, I think they are rewriting the script so that they do not go through that phase again when they have a good squad within their mix. Yes, generally they had a young squad, but sometimes having a young squad is dangerous if they don't have enough experience. The number of games that a certain player has under their belt is crucial for a team to win. All right. The average age for championship winning teams all over the world is 28 years to 29 years. That is the average, because these are the greater years of the beginning of greater success, maturity-wise, and the peak years of most players. When we have young players like Mafios, the boy from who was it, Islanders to Scotland. He was at his peak point earlier than the latecomers. When you have got latecomers, they are mature enough to control games. This is more crucial to any other coach or to any other teammate. You need somebody who has got the experience to help you when you're young. When Cape United started this season, they had their moments, but due to pressure within the setup of the young players, they could not handle the pressure also. Then also, during the later stages of the season, the changing of the leadership also as the coaches came in and came out. The coach with the background of using the more mature players was Lotji Tembwe, but he tried to change hands this time around, but it did not work out well because he's trying to bring in new philosophies to young players and to the middle part of the team also that was struggling a little bit, not that much. It was not a crisis. A crisis is like the one that they were facing at the other half of the green, the capital. That was a crisis because this crisis has been going on for several years.
Yeah.
And for Caps, it was only for this season that we can say maybe it's just a phase that they want to improve for next season. And I believe they've assembled a great technical department with a football history also in the past and in the future. Remember, Lotji Tembwe was a football player. He knew exactly what was needed and what was not needed at Cape United. But there are certain times when we need change. Overstaying in a certain position or in a certain place for a long time, it makes you not so good. But the coming in of Deco and Nengo Match as the team manager, I think it will bring so many changes to Cape United. And remember, they've assembled a very, very good squad for next season. They did not start it recently. They started it just before the mid-season break. They were starting to acquire new players before many people knew about this. Now the team is there, the coach is there. I think it's now down to work, and many teams will be looking forward to face Cape United also.
Well, definitely you need to watch out for Cape United next season, and it is not so predictable, but they could show up. You just never know. And the big three, maybe we will see the big three showing up to the party. But gentlemen, let us warm up to the grand topic. That is the national colors. And of course, our badge, the badge of the Warriors. I see, Bevan, you're cladded in your Warriors
I'm
kit.
in my Warriors
And
kit.
I don't know. Yesterday, we saw the kit unveiling. Are you pleased with the kit, gentlemen? Let me start with Ruben.
My brother, who's going to be pleased with such nonsense? I don't think anybody would want to wear that during the AFCON tournament. Yes, the players don't have a choice. I, as a football fan for the Warriors, I don't think I would like to wear that jersey. It doesn't look nice at all. Right, 2021, our last AFCON edition, our kit was voted the best kit. Now we face a time where we are going to have the worst kit at AFCON.
Who said it's going to be the worst?
It's going to be the worst, that one.
I mean, you doubt. We are yet to see other kids.
That one is ugly, my brother. We need to be honest with each other.
No, I'm not. I've not made a comment regarding that being ugly or being okay. I'm just saying, aren't you getting a bit over yourself to say we're going to have the ugliest or the worst at the tournament? Because you can see shocking kids there.
But number one, what makes it even worse? Our goalkeeper's kit, it's pink. And on our national flag, we don't even have pink. Why can't he be clad in black or black? That's better.
Oh, Bevan, your input, pink. How did we end up with pink?
I have no idea how we ended up with pink. But what I can say about the kit in general, I'm going to be honest. For me, it's not aesthetically pleasing.
Maybe it's the pictures. Maybe we didn't.
I will have probably to grab one physically. But what I saw is not aesthetically pleasing. I don't want to lie. You know what? When you go to major tournaments, one of the things that should be standing out is the kit.
Yeah.
It says a lot about not just the team, the country from which you're coming. Like Dowd alluded to, the previous tournament, our kit was voted the best. I don't think, in terms of aesthetics, this one will go anywhere near those kind of ranks. I'm not so sure. You know, one thing that I've learned working in creative industry is art. Art is something that is funny. You may not see something that others are seeing, but I feel we could have done better in terms of the kit. Because look, the very first tournament that we went to, we had it was El Sport, right? Yeah. It was a very beautiful kit. Yeah. Then we had Legia. Yeah. It was also quite competitive. Yeah. We had the Joma kits. Yeah. They were okay. Well. Then along came Umbro. Yeah. And Umbro is the one that actually
has been producing the best kits that we get.
That was voted. Yeah. Then we had did I talk of Joma?
Yes. Yeah, you spoke of Joma.
There were others that came.
Mafro came in as well.
Yeah, but Mafro was a bit.
And
this
the
one,
Puma you're wearing.
The Puma that I'm wearing. Yeah. But this one, I've got issues because a long process was taken to finally settle for whoever is producing these kits. And to be frank with you, I personally expected something better than they're too plain artistic wise. For me, there isn't much artistic feel in that. There isn't much that is speaking Zimbabwe there.
But they've got a Zimbabwe bed icon. So
but my
maybe
brother,
that's what they are looking
my
at.
brother,
And saying,
we're not looking about that. We need something that is like an art design that tells more about our culture as Zimbabweans, as a country. You know, we need something printed within the, you know, to my that, you know,
and you feel the pride that
the pride
this
of
is
wearing for our
Zimbabwe.
national colors.
like this one. This one is not much. I'll be frank with you. Design,
But this one is simple and nice.
It's just nice.
It's nice.
Yeah.
I would put it that way, but maybe I will have to see these ones physically. But what I saw from the pictures, aesthetically, it's not pleasing.
Even the pictures, they tell us everything about it. Because if somebody is not even impressed by the pictures, generally when you see that thing, it's a big turn off. But also touching on the pink jersey for Washington, I agree with the pink kit. I think he was campaigning for the breast cancer awareness.
cancer
Maybe
awareness,
who knows? Maybe,
yeah.
but for me, those colors and even the design of that kit is a big turn off.
I was seeing also the pictures, people commenting to the pictures, and they were saying the guys are not even smiling. They look defeated already before they even go to
Who
Morocco.
wants to smile when they are wearing ugly things?
Would you smile?
No, the ugly is a not so diplomatic word. But
Well, I think Ruben here is just trying to call a spade a spade. And you want to use a bit of euphemism, but...
yeah, but you know what? One thing that I've learned to accept is my perception is not a universal standard.
Yeah.
I may, like I said, my point is clear. For me, they are not aesthetically pleasing. But my point can't be wholesome. Others may actually view it as nice, because I've come across comments that were actually appreciating the kit. But for me,
Are you sure? But look, yes, we want local brands. To be honest with you, we want to promote our local brands. But we've got a brand that is by the name of Viego. I'm not campaigning for them, but this brand has been doing great kits. Look at the one that the Rangers have been donning for the past 2 seasons. Yeah. When you watch the ladies playing in the African Safari, you can see it's very competitive. It's nice. Everybody is like glued to it, even when the color is pink. But traditionally, we know that the Rangers colors are pink. They had this other kit last season that had the Mets boxes, because with a little bit of numbers, students. 1, 2, because they are students. Yeah. It goes along with who they are. But this one is just pure blank. It doesn't show anything.
Even Cape United, the Cape United kit, which
it
was done by Viego as well.
The Shabani mine?
Nice. Yeah, a number of teams. Yeah, it's good to go local, but I also feel, I think since the process was such that there was voting that was happening, I think the guys that ended up creating the kits should have also brought samples to say, vote for these samples. Nobody was going to sit and say, so I think it would also have been nice.
But the voters, they look at this. Initially, when the voting process started for these brand designs, there was a poll. There was sort of, what do we call this? There was a pie chart, which was showing the votes. And then, hours later, the pie chart was removed. And a lot of people were like, why was the pie chart removed? And, you know, if you look at that kit, Garland, a lot of people were complaining that it wasn't even completed if you look at just the silhouette displays that were put as the brand images. Why it then?
Unfortunately, these things that you do not have access to certain information. What we know officially is these guys were voted as the winners. They were chosen as the winners after, I think, some voting of some sort. Then we have them. But my only issue, Reynolds, is I honestly was expecting something better. Because, like he's saying, the guys that he mentioned, they have been producing kits that...
Quality kits.
Yeah, exactly. Quality kits. I understand. Probably our time is running out. But... they have been making kits, and one would be pardoned to believe that our local producers have come off edge and you're expecting something, that's world class. But to be frank with you, aesthetically for me, that is not world class.
Well, certainly, I'm sure that someone is listening, and hopefully we will be able to see some changes in the future. But it's already done, gentlemen. This is something that we cannot overturn. But let us move on to the selection, the squad. What we are looking at, the cream that is going to be representing Zimbabwe, and that almost 60-man squad being announced. Now we are waiting for the trimming. But, there has been confusion around this. We had Walter Msona. He was deemed not fit by the governing body. Then he goes on, he posts on Facebook that he's 1,000% fit. Then the same with Abubakar Moffat. He said he is not fit to play, but then a report suggests that he is cleared and he is fit to play. And Ruben, tell us about this confusion that we are seeing ahead of this prestigious tournament.
It's unfortunate that we are running in an era where we are having a leadership at Ziva that is full of biased. How can you have a player called up for the national team who is injured? That's the first question. If somebody is injured from the previous game he was playing for his clubs, the doctor from the club writes a letter to them. Then he himself carries that letter and takes it to the technical staff. And the national team doctor also examines him and says his final word. The player is fit. Bevan, are you fit? Are you injured? If Bevan says I'm not well, then I have to accept reality that he's not well. Then if there is room for recovery within the time frame, then why can't we have that player in the setup? Right, we've got Abubakar Moffat, one of the best players that we are having at the moment,
Yes.
playing the defensive midfield role, with great skill, great technique, great charisma, competing against Nakamba, somebody who has been struggling for minutes at Luton, somebody who has not been performing for the past 2-3 seasons. Do you see what I'm trying to say? All you want is the name Nakamba, but you don't want to give the upcoming stars another chance so that they can be seen. We need to see Abubakar Moffat in that national team setup. We are tired of a player who's always playing sideways and backwards. We need somebody who can spread the passes to.
Allow me to butt in. I think it's if I would not make it about individuals.
Yeah.
When I think the association, they have time. When these players are called, of course they will come with medical reports, but the association will have their own.
They already have a list.
No, they will have their own medical process. Yes.
Okay.
So I think it's stemming from their own process to say, no, this guy is injured. Because I will tell you what.
Yeah.
As a player, I would want to represent my country. I would want to go AFCON. Even if I'm injured, I will tell you to go in. And here's the thing. We are used to a situation where we cut corners sometimes.
Yeah.
And we've got players who play with injuries in our league. That is a very common thing.
Yeah, that is a very common thing.
Yes. Or want to buy a morphine, whatever you call it.
Yeah.
So that has no pain. But the injury is there. So when these guys then detect this and said, I'm Nagakwara. The point that I would take from him is you would probably look at a situation by if a player can recover in time for the tournament, he ought to be considered, depending on who the player is and what he has contributed. If he's a key figure already in the setup, but if there are ample replacements, I think they can do that. Then whilst I am a huge admirer of Abubakar Moffat as a player, I'm a huge admirer and would want to see him don the Warriors jersey. But I think also there is nothing wrong with Nakamba there. Yet, he can still play. I think after having saved the nation the way he has done, it may be a chance for him to pass his valedictory remarks after the tournament. But then again, it would also have been nice maybe to carry your Abubakar Moffat there if it's going to be the successor, then you've got a few. He's got a few, because very soon you're going to be having qualifiers. Just after the tournament and stuff, we'll be having qualifiers. So you'd need these guys then to take up the roles. So yeah, we could carry them. But in terms of the injuries, I think I will not be a person that is going to dwell on social media posts from players. Players can do that. They can say whatever they say. But I would very much maybe look at what the medical professionals says. That would be something that we'd look at if you ask me. And unfortunately, I think our time is just... But I would have loved to say more.
Well, definitely, Bevan would have loved to say more, but it still remains the debacle, and it still remains a bit of contention that is for who is going to be in the Warriors squad. And of course, soon we will be able to find out. I think by Friday we may have something, possibly, but some injuries.
Friday is what in terms of days?
Friday is
the
12th.
The 12th. I think that's the cutoff.
That's the cutoff.
Yeah, we'll definitely know by Friday.
But just a quick one, gentlemen. We have had injuries that have plagued the Warriors. Marshall Munetsi reportedly injured. Then we had Jordan Zemura limping off as well. Washington Arubi, the favorite for the number 1 jersey, also going out of the match because of an injury. Do you think that we can be able to maneuver through this period, this shaky period of trusted cadres that are now being subjected to these injuries?
No, the issue is you've got to look at what kind of injuries and the extent of injuries. There may be sprains and strains that can actually be okay by the time we kick the first ball on the 22nd. So I think it's up to the assessment of the doctors to see what will happen. If it is a case of saying they are not going to be at the tournament, then I think replacements will be there. It's a national team. It's 1,000 plus players.
Replacement for Marshall Munetsi, Washington Arubi, and Jordan Zemura?
As a nation, as a number 1 supporter for the Warriors, we would have lost quality, to be honest with you, if they fail to make it to AFCON. But like what Bevan has said, we've got more players also who are willing to take part in the AFCON. And we hope that these guys, if their injuries are beyond what we expect for them to recover on time, better luck for them next time. But I don't think for Arubi there will be another next time. This will be the end game for him. Is around 40-41, and he has served us well, especially during these qualifiers. He brought stability and maturity to the national team side where we were lacking, but. We hope that that is not the case for the 3 players, and we hope that they fully recover on time. But from what I've heard, that Marshall Munetsi has a calf problem. A calf is not easily that mended on time, but he needs to recover if it's possible with better medication and better physiotherapy.
Well, it is strictly football, and of course, we were talking of nothing short of football, and just giving you those highlights. The AFCON pending and really waiting for us to get there. That is on the 21st of this month. That's when we are going to be witnessing the opening ceremony, and the Warriors will be in action the following day, and it is said to be a beautiful match out. But strictly football, for myself, Reynold Guarati,
and Bevan Shinrai,
and Ruben Dowd.
Well, it is a goodbye. Catch you again in the next episode.